Hi guys and welcome back. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this framework to make in-frame style alcove units. That's a mouthful to get out. Hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Cheers. Okay, so you'll have to excuse me because I wasn't actually going to do a video on this, so we've jumped quite far ahead. But basically, essentially what I've done is I've just knocked up some simple carcasses. They haven't got no backs on them because I'm not going to do backs in these units because they're going tight against the wall and I've got power and all sorts in there. So if you're doing this at home, put some backs in your units. And I haven't done the solid tops on them just because I don't want to waste material basically. So they've just got a front rail at the minute, but because these are going to be in frame, that's going to sit up over the top, if you can see that on there, and create a lip. So when I get all the units together, I'm going to put strapping pieces across, which is going to hold everything nice and tight. That's out of the way, and what we've done is we've planed up some strips of wood. You can see I've got a good few planed up here. Like I said, I would have showed you, but I mean essentially all I've done is planed up. You can actually buy a stock if you don't have a planer anyway. So this is 36mm by 20mm, and the 36 is essentially because when the two carcasses, if I show you, go together, I want this to be 18 and 18, which gives us 36. So we have the same frame right the way around, but I'll show you that when we're a bit further along in the process, so don't worry if you don't understand that yet. So what we need to do now is put a moulding on these, which will end up looking like this here, if you can see that there. Called a cock bead moulding, so we're going to put that on. So we're going to get the router table set up and get on with that. Let's do it. Okay, so here we are at the mini router table. We don't really need to use like a big router table like that one over there for this sort of thing. This little mini one here will work. You could theoretically do this freehand, but it might get a little bit tippy on that edge. If you haven't got a little router table, I'll link up here to my video of how I made this one. They're really cheap and easy to make, and this just takes a little Makita router. Well, this is actually a Katsu one in here, but yeah, a little Makita router, a 1/4" router, any 1/4" router will work for this, so use one of them. But what we're going to do is we're going to run this through in that plane there with the bit of timber, and that's going to give us our nice little profile on the edge that you can see there. So let's get these run through and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now we've got our moulding on all of our components. We want to get our our top and bottom rail cut to length, and the easiest way I found to do that is actually to measure off the frame. So I'm going to flip you around and I'm going to show you physically on the carcass how we do that. Okay, so the easiest way I found to do this is, if you imagine this is our top rail, this is our bottom rail. What we're going to do is we're going to put our two longer pieces on the frame in the correct position. Now that's easy for me because I don't want any lip in here between my carcass and that. You might want to offset like that, but then you're going to need different hinges for that. So what I'm going to do is set mine completely flush on the inside here on both sides, and then we can physically take a measurement. Just ensure that that's nice and flush right the way up. You don't want that sitting like that because you're not going to get an accurate measurement. So nice and flush all the way up. Same on the other side. Okay, so now we've got them clamped on. Like I said, there's probably a million other better ways of doing this, but this is like the easiest, most fail-safe way that I've got of doing this. What we're going to do is physically put that on, and we're going to take a measurement between our two flat points here and here. You can see this flat point because that's going to be where the edge of our frame butts in. This will make a lot more sense once we actually do it. So my measurement on there is 420 and a half millimeters. So we'll call it 420 for argument's sake. We're not going to lose sleep over 1/2 mil. So 420 mil. So now what we can do is take our shorter components, our top and bottom components, and physically cut them to size so they fit in between them two shoulders, like that. Okay, so now we've got them to the right size. What we need to do is actually miter off on these corners. So what we're going to do is we're going to miter on a 45 and we're going to strike from this point here, if you can see that. So it's going to be mitered back from this shoulder that we've got in here. So let's do that. Okay, so now we've done the easier ones, it's time to turn our attention to the longer, slightly more difficult ones, but not too bad. But we need to mark these out for length. So when marking this out, make sure you leave yourself plenty of overhang on the ends, because don't forget, these frames are going to be 36 mil at the top and the bottom. So need to make sure we allow enough. You see that? Yeah, for that overhang. So leave these slightly longer, just so you can get a bit more on there. And the points that we want on here, you'll have to apologise, this is a really hard angle to record for you guys, but these 2 points here are what we want to mark out. Now this is going to be slightly less. If you are doing your frame overhanging like this, then that's going to be your point, but because I'm doing mine flush with the carcass, the internals of the carcass are my points, so I can mark them out and just strike them lines. So I'm going to do that quickly. Like I said, this is really hard for me to film this and do this for you guys, so bear with me if I look a bit cack-handed in this. But we're going to mark that point and come round and mark the same on the other point here. And there we go, that's our points marked. Now that we've got that marked, we want to use a tool called a miter block. Now you can make your own like I have done here. This is literally 2 bits of wood screwed together, and then I've just cut them on the miter saw, or you can actually get, I mean, I don't think you can probably buy these anymore, but these are like old-fashioned cast steel ones, so we're going to use this one for this. But the thing you have got to bear in mind is this is metal and it will blunt your chisel if you dig into it. So for a beginner, I suggest the wood one, because this isn't going to damage your chisel. So what we're going to do is lay that on. We're going to get that exactly on that knife point, and then we're going to lock that in the vise. If you don't have a vise, you could clamp this on and clamp this down to the bench, but it is easier with a vise, even if it's a metalworker's vise. But what we're going to do is take one of our fine saws, whether you've got one of these or one of these, any of them will do, just as long as it's a fine saw. You don't want an aggressive saw for this. So what we're going to do is place our saw plate on there, and we're just going to cut until we get down to that little quirk edge in there, and that'll give us our 45. That's it, that's that one cut. Okay, so now we've got these cut, what we're going to do is cut down just off of this line. We don't want to try and cut on the line. We're going to pare that back with a chisel afterwards. So we're going to pop it in the vise. I normally use the bandsaw, but I will do it by hand just to show you guys. So we're just going to take our little gent saw, run that down. You want to be careful not to cut past your point here, because that would be really easy to do. So just slow down towards the ends, and that'll pop straight off. And you should be able to see I've left a bit of material there that we're going to pare off with the chisel, because it's a safer way of doing it. So I'll get the rest of them cut and then we'll do that. And then once you've got that all nice and smoothed out like that, what you can do is bring your two parts together and just have a look, and look at that, nice and tight. That's what we like to see. So I'm going to do that to the rest of them, and then I'll bring you back in and show you how to fix them together. Okay, so now to put these together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a domino in the end of these, and in there you can see I put my pencil marks on there. Hopefully you can see my pencil marks on there. I think you can. Yep. So I'm going to put a domino in there, and I'm going to put a domino in the end. Now I appreciate not everyone's going to have a Festool domino, so another way you could go about this, or another two ways, is you can actually glue this frame up now. So if you imagine I had a bit of glue on there and a bit of glue on there, stick your clamp across and actually glue this frame up like this. Once it's glued up, you could take your clamp off and you could actually drill down and put a dowel in there to strengthen it, or you could drill down and counterbore and just put a screw into the end of there. So if you haven't got a domino, do it that way. Nice and easy way of doing it. Just make sure you give that glue plenty of time to go off and be gentle with it, because that is end grain to face grain, so it could snap. But yeah, either drill down and put a dowel in there, or drill down and put a screw through there. Make sure you counterbore it, but I'm going to do the domino for this. So if you have got a domino, follow this. Okay, so this is the one where you really got to be careful, because we've removed this section here. The domino could tip, the Festool domino could tip. Now you could take one of your offcuts and put it back on there if you wanted to, but I prefer to just make sure that I'm referencing off of there. What I normally do is actually just do this before I cut this section away, but because of the video, I've done it this way for you guys. Okay, so it's now time to glue up. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue our dominoes into these first and then do it into there. I forgot to mention, if you are using the domino method, because we're obviously sitting off the frame here, you will need to set your domino deeper. I've set mine to 25mm just to make sure that it goes deep enough in there, and I'm using 5x30 dominoes for that. So let's get these all glued in. Nice liberal bit of glue on there. Don't go over the top. We don't want loads of squeeze out to glue up on, but you do want to make sure that you're covering with glue everywhere, especially on these miters, because this is where it's going to want to open up if it does open up at all. So get them all glued in. You can see I've changed glue bottles because my other one weren't working properly. Just make sure when you do this that you pull your miters up nice and tight. You don't want this glue going off and your miters ain't closed home. Get a cloth and take off the majority of that excess glue. We will have more come out when we clamp up, but it's easier at this stage to clean that off because you'll be able to see what you're doing when you clamp them up. Okay, so we've got that frame all glued up and all in clamps. What we're going to do is take our nice meter ruler or stick, whatever you've got, and just check we're in square. So we've got 636 there, 639 there, so we are slightly out of square. So the way to compensate that is just to knock one of your clamps around a touch. That should 638, 637, so we're half a mil out of square. I can live with that, that's fine. So we're going to let that all set up, and then we're going to get it connected to our frame. So I'll come back to you once this is all dried up. Okay, so we've got our frame out of the clamps and I've cleaned it up, and you can probably see I've ripped these edges down thinner than these ones, and that's purely because I'm going to have two cupboards next to each other, so when they butt up that will be 36mm to match in with the bottom and the top of our frame. So to put this on, simply all you've done, as you can see here, is I've drilled some pocket holes into the cupboard. So we'll get this clamped on. You can glue it if you want, but I'm not going to bother gluing mine. I'm just literally going to clamp it and pocket hole screw it straight on. That way if I ever need to remove it, I can do. I don't think I'll need to, but the option's there. So let's get this fixed. And there you have it, guys. That's how you make up the frame for an in-frame alcove unit door. I will be making the doors for these. These are going to be in the next video along, so you'll be able to see how to make the alcove, the shaker style doors, sorry, to go inside this. But that'll be either the next video or the one after. So subscribe if you're not, and you'll see how to do that video there. But if you've got any questions at all, hit me in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'll get back to everyone in the comments. So yeah, any questions, let me know. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.